new topic called biological classification. So that means we're going to cover a new standard. And today's task, you're going to complete the bell ringer. You're going to view this screencast, of course, as an introduction to biological classification. And then you're going to move into your biological classification group project. And just a reminder, there will be a quiz this Friday on photosynthesis and cellular respiration. And also, USA Test Prep Part 3 and Flipgrid videos 3 and 4 are due Friday. And I've extended the EOC vocabulary and questions to Tuesday. So the standard we're going to cover today is to obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to assess the interdependence of all organisms on one another and their environment. So we're just going to talk about pretty much how they're being classified today. So your learning target is to classify organisms using taxonomy and list the 6 kingdoms based on general characteristics. So biologists classify living things according to the traits they share. So taxonomy is the classification of an organism based on several features: structure, behavior, development, genetic makeup, that's your DNA and RNA, nutritional needs, the type of foods they need to eat, and methods of obtaining food. So do they grow their food, or do they have to hunt and kill to obtain their food? So taxonomy divides organisms into several categories that start out broadly and become more specific. So you have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So it gets broader and it breaks down into the next column. So a good acronym to use to remember this is King Philip came over for great sandwiches. So K for kingdom, of course, and P for phylum, and so on and so forth. So some key players in the whole taxonomy and naming game was Aristotle. So he made the first recorded attempt at classification of plants and animals. And he grouped them in 2 main categories, plants and animals. And he also broke that down into blooded and bloodless. So blooded, he considered such animals such as birds, fish, 4-legged creatures. Bloodless were more like insects or soft animals like octopus. Carl Linnaeus was a Swedish botanist who created the most current classification system called binomial nomenclature, which is a system of naming organisms with 2-part names. So it is important to remember that when we're naming organisms, we always start with the genus first, okay? And that's always capitalized, followed by the species, which is the second name, that's lowercase. Both are either italicized or underlined. So for example, Homo sapiens, which is who we are, we're part of that species and genus. Guys, remember to kind of pause the video and make sure you take these notes down. I will also post this PowerPoint to Google Classroom so that you copy the standards, the learning targets, and get these little bit of notes. All right, so your project is going to be on the kingdoms, okay? So just like we did before, you're going to select group leaders, okay? And those group leaders are going to go to Google Drive and then create a Google slide. You're going to share that slide with your teammates, okay? So this is your kingdoms project. So what you're going to do, you're going to complete the following prompts. So you're going to tell me whether or not it's prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Give me 5 key facts. You can use the EOC book or the web. How does it reproduce? Give me 5 examples of the organisms within your kingdom, and give me 3 review questions for the class to participate and answer at the end of your presentation. Everyone must participate, which is why the group leaders need to share the PowerPoint. And the group leaders will grade your teammates accordingly using the rubric I have provided. We've used this rubric before, and if I feel like you're too lenient, I will intervene and give the appropriate grade for that student. So just stay within your group, participate, add to it, and we will be good. Do not go from group to group or I will take points off. Okay, so go ahead. Guys, remember to kind of pause the video and make sure you take these notes down. I will also post this PowerPoint to your classroom so that you can understand and target Alright, so your project is going to be on the kingdoms, okay? So just like you did before, you can select group leaders, okay? And those group leaders are going to also Google Drive and then create a Google slide. You're going to share that.
I don't even know why I did
No cow.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
That's slide 14. So this is your keyword.
What do you think?
I think the video was very helpful. It was very resourceful.
Why do you think that?
Because it was very clear we didn't have to stop every 5 minutes for her to control a student or to quiet the class down. It was just, I could do it then and there. It was very
What questions do you have?
I was still confused at the difference between all the animal kingdoms and stuff.